send me a few pictures, and most sections seemed to be filled. It wasn't a sellout, but there was supposedly over 19,000 people in attendance. Of course, it's easier to draw a decent crowd when tickets are selling for $3 hours before the game.
Angel Reese tickets just hit $2, yes, cheaper than a gas station hot dog, and fans are asking if they also come with a refund after performance. So shocking it made referees check their glasses twice. The stands are emptier than your ex's promises. What happened? Why is the internet roasting her like it's Thanksgiving? Stick around, because this story is juicier than a TMZ meltdown and funnier than her shooting percentage last night. Let's get into it.
Okay. They're having troubles with tickets now because I think Caitlin Clark is out for what? How many weeks is she out? She's ruled out for the June 7th game. That's when she was supposed to meet up with Angel Reese again. And Chicago Sky, and there's a massive drop in ticket sales. This is after the take foul that she had on Reese and ended with a shove, and she got a flagrant foul, and they gave Reese and the other chick a foul. And I don't know, I guess she has a left quad strain, and she's gonna miss
at least 4 games is what they're saying.
Yeah.
$3 to see a professional basketball game. $3. You can't even buy a sad vending machine sandwich with that kind of change. But you can apparently watch Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky play live in an NBA-size arena. Now, I'm not saying it's a bad deal. Technically, it's cheaper than watching high school JV ball. But if someone handed me $3 and said, pick Sky tickets or a gas station hot dog, I'd be halfway through that greasy, questionable meat stick before they could say, rebound percentage.
Or Angel Reese and selling tickets and people watching her play is a lie. It's been proven time and time again, and it's been once again proven in a very embarrassing fashion for Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky, as Indiana travels to Chicago tonight at 8 o'clock start to take on Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky, and they're playing without Caitlin Clark. Apparently now Stephanie White will not be at the game. I'm not even doing a video on that. I see a whole bunch of stuff being on that. I couldn't.
And here's the twist. There were 19,000 fans in the building. That's not a typo. That sounds great. Right like a slam dunk for the WNBA. A huge W for women's basketball. Until you realize why they were there, they weren't showing up in droves to see the Sky. They were there for the opposing team. Because the Sky happened to be playing the Indiana Fever. You know the team with Caitlin. Every camera is on me, Clark, who basically carries the league's marketing budget on her back like it's a fanny pack.
Tickets to get into this building have completely plummeted. It's hitting levels of Miami Marlins baseball games. And for those of you who don't know, I could get a ticket for a Miami Marlins baseball game to sit row 3 for $5. That's how bad it is for Miami Marlins.
So yes, 19,000 people showed up. But let's not kid ourselves. That wasn't Chicago Sky fan base. That was a traveling Caitlin Clark cult on a Midwestern pilgrimage. And even then, Chicago still had to drop prices to levels not seen since Blockbuster rental days just to get people in the building. Imagine hosting a party at your own house. And all your guests only came to see your more popular neighbor, and then you still had to pay them to show up.
Really dead serious when I say this. I'm beating a lot of them, but I'm burying Angel Reese one-on-one. And I'm a big WNBA fan.
She's just big. She's not even good.
She's listed at 6'3". That means she's 6'1". I'm forcing her left, forcing her right. I don't know if she even knows what hand she...
Shooting efficiency list. Unfortunately for Angel Reese, she's dead ass last. And I'm not kidding you. In this list of
the Sky tickets are $3. That's not just embarrassing, that's historic. That someone put this in a museum. So our grandkids know how bad things got embarrassing. Like at this point, the team should consider throwing a free taco with every seat just to sweeten the deal. And to make matters worse, you could bring your whole family of 5 to the game for a $15 zero and still have enough leftover change to buy some nachos and question your life. Decisions, but the real kicker is Angel Reese herself. Look. We've all heard the hype, the swagger, the Bayou Barbie, branding, the $1 million nil deals, the TikTok dances. But at what point does it translate into actually wanting to play basketball? Because that's the part that's looking a little fuzzy right now. This isn't shade. This is a full-blown solar eclipse. Angel Reese doesn't look like she wants to be on that court half the time. She's jogging around like someone told her cardio was optional her body. Language screams, is this over yet? More than it. Screams Mamba mentality. And every time someone brings up her struggles, her fans leap to her defense like she's a fragile Faber egg instead of a professional athlete. At this point, you can't criticize her game without getting jumped by a squad of Instagram. defenders using astrology signs as legal arguments.
This is your star? This is who the media claims is elevating the WNBA? This is who the media has spent the last year wasting time trying to convince us that Angel Reese is responsible for elevating the dump? The same Angel Reese that could not sell out home games when she was at LSU. The same Angel Reese that struggled to sell tickets last year with the Chicago Bravado. The same Angel Reese that could not give away free tickets to her immaculate homecoming a couple of weeks ago at LSU.
Yes, there's a learning curve, but when your team's ticket prices drop lower than a thrift store clearance rack and people would rather eat microwave gas station beef than watch your team play, maybe it's time for a little self-reflection, because basketball, for all its glitz and shoe deals, still requires the tiniest shred of effort. And right now, Rhea's giving off big, I'm just here. So I won't get find energy in the funniest part every time Angel steps. On the court, the internet turns into a civil war reenactment. You got half the people ready to knight her as the future face of the league, and the other half writing eulogies for her stat lines, its chaos, its content, its reality TV. In sneakers, those same seats become wide open plains of regret and popcorn spills. Let's be brutally honest. Here, if you're a young WNBA player and your home game tickets are being sold for less than a Starbucks cake pop, you are officially in the danger zone, like emergency meeting with your PR team. We need to. Fake an injury kind of danger zone. The league's not going to market you. And the only way they can fill an arena is by luring in fans of the other team with pocket change and sheer pity.
Angel Reese came out and had a 12 rebound, 4.2 assist game in the absence of Caitlin Clark tonight. Angel, they're not coming for you. They're coming to watch the prodigal son or daughter, Caitlin Clark. So as the Indiana Fever beat the Chicago Sky by 29 points without Caitlin Clark, I asked the EBT community, do y'all have eyes? Like, these two players have nothing.
But don't worry, Angel still has her diehards. You know, the ones who insist that she brings more than just stats, which is great. Let's put that on a t-shirt. 0 points, 2 rebounds, unlimited vibes, iconic, legendary, inspiring, and completely useless when the scoreboard is flashing an L the size of Lake Michigan. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark's over there stacking triple-doubles and casually turning every WNBA game into a tele. ESPN is practically turning into the Caitlin Clark channel, and fans are loving it. Meanwhile, Angel's contribution to the cultural moment is getting boxed out and retweeting shade from the bench. Now, don't get it twisted, Angel Reese can play. She's got size instincts and the kind of presence that makes media execs Drew Reese's stat line look like it was written in invisible ink. If you blinked, you miss her contribution. She was out there blending into the hardwood like a decorative floorboard. Meanwhile, her defenders are online acting like anyone who brings it up is committing a federal offense. At some point, we have to stop pretending like branding is a substitute for production. Being the moment only lasts so long before people start asking what you're actually doing in the moment. Because $3 tickets, that's not people rooting against you. That's a free market quietly whispering, we're good. You know it's bad when people in the stadium are spending more time filming TikTok than watching the game. You can hear entire conversations echoing through the arena because nobody's clapping unless Caitlin Clark touches the ball. It's like watching a concert where only the opening act shows up and the headliner forgot their mic and lost their voice. The WNBA's been begging for attention for decades, and now that the spotlight's finally here, you got Angel Reese walking around like she's an A. Different genre, like someone told her she accidentally signed up for a modeling agency instead of a basketball team. A hustle play, a fast break. That doesn't look like a reluctant jog. A little heart, maybe. Is that too much? Because right now, the only fast movement we're seeing is fans sprinting for the exits by halftime.
Angel Reese has a monster motor, and she'll gobble up double-doubles just off effort. But what I really like to see is her putting in work on her jumper, because Barbie getting buckets is going to be a real problem.
Meanwhile, the league's trying to pump up the so-called rivalry between Reese and Clark like it's Ali Ver Frazier, when it's feeling more like Frazier. Ver one's making headlines for shattering records, the other for silently updating her Instagram story from the bench. And don't forget, this was a home crowd. If you can't win over your own city, when the league's most popular player is standing right next to you. Maybe it's time to switch to motivational speaking or take up curling. So yes, $3 too. Watch Angel Reese live is technically a bargain, but let's be honest, until she actually starts acting like she wants to hoop a gas station hot dog, it's a better investment. At least that thing has some heat, and somehow it still felt overpriced. People showed up expecting to buy you Barbie to give them a show, but what they got instead was a basketball equivalent of a loading screen for 3 entire quarters.
Angel Reese needs to be better at basketball. I'm not talking about as a person. I'm not talking about as a podcaster. I'm not talking about at the Met Gala. She needs to be a better player if we want this rivalry to be able to have some staying power. She had a very, very busy offseason, but at this moment, it does not seem like the offseason involved a lot of Mikan drills of left-handed layups. Right now, Angel Reese, she is a wildly famous rebounder. Somebody had the funniest tweet on this. The Caitlin Clark Angel Reese rivalry is like if Kobe had a rivalry with
Let's be real, people weren't even asking for a 40-point performance. They just want to feel like they didn't get swindled by a Groupon for heartbreak. When a ticket to game costs less than a bottle of Gatorade inside the arena, the least you can do is give fans more than 4 points and a walk-off glare. Instead, they got to witness the human version of buffering. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark, bless her Iowa-grown laser, accurate heart is over. They're doing more in 5 minutes than Angel Reese did the entire game. Clark's bouncing passes between defenders, drilling logo threes, making the scoreboard look like it's on cheat mode, while Angel's still trying to find the paint without a GPS. And the part that really stings, people didn't even pay those $3 for Angel. They paid them to see Clark. Angel was supposed to be the co-star in this rivalry, the drama, the grudge match. And instead, she played like she was an extra in her own movie, The Fans O. They noticed you could hear the sarcasm echoing through the stadium like, well, I paid $3 to see Angel Reese stand there like she's waiting on an Uber. Now fans are out here demanding refunds like they just saw a bad magician who accidentally cut himself in half. Some are even saying they should just burn the money. Instead, it would have been more entertaining and marginally warmer than the icy cold performance re-delivered.
Social media impressions do not equate to television ratings, and they damn sure don't translate to ticket sales. The media can continue framing this narrative that Angel Reese is driving the WNBA's growth, but once again, we have data that proves Angel Reese is not a draw.
Let's not sugarcoat it. Angel Reese is quickly becoming a punchline of the WNBA, and not in the fun, quirky. She's got a great sense of humor way. No, this is full-blown. She's the biggest joke in the league territory. Like if the WNBA had a blooper reel, Angel season highlights would be the intro. And the irony is almost painful. She's got the endorsements, the media hype, the social media army ready to go full scorched. Earth on anyone who dares to critique her performance. But here's the problem, you can't Instagram filter your way out of 4 points. You can't TikTok dance away a double-digit loss. You can tell where her passion lies. And it's not with the jump shot as in the clout. This whole league debut has been less a basketball season and more a personal PR to her Angels out here. Collecting followers, not rebounds or stat sheet, looks like a deleted draft. And while she's too busy giving looks to ESPN cameras, Caitlin Clark is giving buckets to everyone who steps within 10 feet of her. Clark is a player people are driving across state lines to see, is the one people forget was even in the lineup until the announcer says her name, and even then they still double-check the jersey like, wait, that's her.
No, you don't. You want to watch her in social media land. I'm going to remind you, you love the influencer that is Angel Reese. You love what she wears. You love how she carries herself. That's fine. You're entitled to do that. You're entitled to that. It's your right to like who you like and all that shit. But you don't really love Angel Reese, the basketball player. You don't. You say you do, but you don't show it. You don't show it. How do you show something when you don't watch or play games? There's a reason that TV ratings exist. And I've had all the comments around TV ratings saying, nobody talked about TV ratings before this.
Pause for a second and imagine the carnage that would have unfolded if Caitlin and Sophie Cunningham had been on the court at the same time. Sophie's a walking flamethrower. And if she'd been out there throwing elbows and draining threes alongside Clark, Angel Reese would have needed a search party to find her way back to relevance. The scoreboard might have needed a mercy rule, the Chicago sky might have called a timeout just to cry it's not just bad, it's embarrassing, it's we. Might need to rebrand a franchise embarrassing this as a WNBA where every player wants to eat your lunch and dunk the tray afterward, and Angel Reese is sitting at the table trying to remember if she packed her PB&J. At what point does a hype machine hit empty? Because right now it's running on fumes, and hashtags you can't build a career on one NCAA moment, and a pile of brand deals eventually people expect you to. Actually play the game you know, dribble pass, maybe even score more than someone's jersey number.
In fact, ticket sales are down 70% in many places. The Fever played the Mystics 2 nights ago. The cheapest ticket before her injury was announced was $41. Okay. The cheapest one. After her injury was announced and people knew that she wasn't going to be playing, the lowest ticket price dropped to $3. $3. This is the Caitlin Clark effect. The WNBA doesn't quite realize what they have in Caitlin Clark. She is the absolute golden goose, the golden ticket. She is the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
And fans aren't dumb. They're already catching on every time she has a weak game. The internet erupts like a popcorn bag left in 2 long clips of her missed layups and defensive no-shows are getting memed faster than you can say influencer. Meanwhile, Caitlin's got people debating whether she's the greatest WNBA rookie of all time. And Angel's over here making people debate if $3 was just too steep a price for heartbreak and hardwood disappointment. If this is supposed to be the future of the league, then the league might want to refund 2 more, like in the Why Did I Skip brunch, for this way. The only stat line anyone remembers from that game is the price of admission, because Angel Reese scored 4 points. And those $3 are now the most infamous investment in Chicago since someone said, let's keep Jay Cutler.